Alex Maguire. Are you ready to tee it up?
All good, yeah, all good.
Flying it. I spoke to you, Jesus, it was the end of the summer 2 years ago, would it have been? Or the end of the summer last year? You had
No, it
done
was 2
the
years ago.
Dubliner.
Yeah, would have been
2 years ago. Time flies when you're having fun. You've had some year, 2023. Was that like a bucket list year?
yeah, like I was sort of saying to a few people this year, like, if you at the start of the year, if you list out all the events and you say to me, right, what would you like to play in if time was irrelevant, and what would you want to play in? I would have picked every single event I played this year. Like it was mad. Like from my schedule at the start of the year, and then looking back at what I actually played in, my schedule was like 10 events, and I played maybe like 18 to 20, maybe. A lot of those being sort of team events, like Holmes, Eisenhower, Banalic, all these sort of things that you're always trying to play your way onto those teams. But yeah, it started off okay in America, and then once I came back to Ireland, it sort of snowballed in the right direction.
Kind of fast tracked a few decisions as well, I believe. We'll
Yeah.
start. I'm going to list them out so people don't have to check Wagger or check articles online. I listed out like the highlight reel on my
Right.
sheet of paper here. We'll start with the wins. So winning the St. Andrews Links Trophy, so that meant you locked in top spot in the rankings for Open Amateur Series, which got you into the Open. Won the East in the Baltray back-to-back, first person in 30 years since Ramey Burns in the 90s. Fifth in the amateur. Homerton Masters European Champs, you said there. Walker Cup, played in the Irish Open, played in the Open. Yeah, kind of bucket list stuff there, right?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of good stuff. Yeah, it's quite I'd say probably while it was sort of going on, like sort of during the summer, when things are happening, you're getting into things, and you probably, well, I definitely didn't, maybe not appreciate it. I definitely didn't recognize how special or rare it was. When you get into the mind of like playing, and you're every week you're leaving and you're playing events, you sort of get into like a sort of a business mindset where you just go, right, that was a good week, like fifth at the amateur, like great week. And all of a sudden I'm just thinking about, wait, what's next? What else do I get to play? Where else do I have to go? It was probably sort of once the season died down, once Q-School was over, I looked back at the year and look at my results, and yeah, look at the trophies in my room. It's a quite a surreal year, and I definitely didn't really appreciate it during the year, but now I've sort of had time to reflect and a bit of time off. Yeah, it sort of makes me very proud of myself.
No, A1, and it is the time of year for reflecting, and I'm even setting right out my annual goals and comparing them to the start of the year, and some of them were achieved and some of them weren't. I asked John Murphy this question. Favorite memory from the Walker Cup?
Jesus, I don't know, it was 7, 8 days of feeling I was on cloud nine, so I don't know if I could pick one. I think uh favorite memory. To me, the best memory I've had from the whole year, and it's something very, very small, but it was on the Friday, so the day before they had closed the whole course. So obviously the first few days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the course is open to visitors, so like people could play, and we were sort of within tee times. So obviously the course was still fully booked, and then on the Friday, I think Thursday and Friday, they closed the whole course off, so nobody was playing. Just us and on the US team, so only 20 guys had access to the old course for the whole day. And my girlfriend flew over that morning, and we were walking up 17, 18 together, just me and her. And I was, chipping balls away so we could go out and practice after our practice round. And I was, chipping balls with her. She hit a few putts, and it was a very special moment because, I mean, how rare is that? You're sort of you have the whole old course to yourself. My girlfriend was there. It was very, very special. So it was only a small thing, but like she's been with me for every event this year, and to sort of cap it off by walking over the Swilcan Bridge. And to her, it's nothing. Like she doesn't understand as much as the rest of us do how rare that is. So that was probably my favorite memory. And then obviously on the golf course, that Saturday morning was it was probably the best moment of my career as well on the golf course.
Smashing. No, that's really nice. Come here to me. That was real Cork, wasn't it? Come here to me. I'm hanging out with Peter O'Keefe too much.
Yeah.
2022, you stayed in a tent in the Open with your dad, and you were tight on floor space, to this year playing in it. How was that transition like? Were you in a tent this year?
No, I wasn't in a tent this year. No, I was able to get somewhere in a solid building to stay in. Actually, the year I wasn't with my dad in a tent. It was actually with my few of my mates. They had one of my mates had won the ballot, I think, in one of the ticket raffle, and he got 4 tickets. And so it was himself and his dad and my mate Jack, who ended up caddying for me this year at the Open. So it was mad. Like last year at St Andrews, we both slept in the tent together, and then just to go watch it. I mean, we were there for the 4 days, and then this year we both, he had the caddy bib on, and I was playing. It was mad, but I always thought it was possible. I always thought like I had the chance to get into the Open. Obviously, the way I did it was, I didn't even know that route was possible last year. It wasn't announced till early this year. So yeah, it was a lot nicer being in a solid building and being behind the ropes, and yeah, it was mad how in the space of like 365 days I've gone from sleeping on dirt to being the person that everyone's watching inside the ropes.
What was the difference? Because it's interesting to me, like compare experiences. Like for me, playing in the multi-medal versus playing the club championship, like the strain of the old hoop is about 6 or 7 degrees higher. Yeah. What? And I'm not going to say like I'm not going to say that, and that's not even playing in the south yet. And I say yet, but describe, I suppose, the difference, and it could be mentally or expectation-wise, between playing in something like the amateur versus playing in the Open.
I guess if we took it off this year, I felt like at the amateur, I felt like I belonged. Like I felt like I was there to compete. I mean, I'm there to try to win the amateur. Whereas a few years ago, if I was playing the amateur, I probably would have thought I was out of my depth. This year, I felt like I was coming off to St Andrews and the East, and I felt like I was probably maybe the most informed player there. I felt like I had a very good chance of winning it. So the expectations of it are sort of, you don't even think about the I don't know how to describe it. It's so different. But then you're thrown into the Open, and it's like, I mean, I'm sort of the small fish in a massive pond, and you're sort of, you're good enough, you can compete, and you feel like it's a links course, and you feel like you can play well, but all of a sudden, you're looking around your practice rounds, or you're warming up, and you see Victor Hovland behind you. It's just mad. It's a lot more. As much as you can try zone out and think that it'll be a normal week, it's just not. And on the course, I was quite good. Like, my routines and everything was quite good. My commitment was very good. It was very similar to what it would have been in the amateur. But I'd say for me, as soon as things went wrong on that second day, it was a little bit harder to sort of stay mentally focused than compared to like if I had, if I made a double at the East or double at wherever it might be. I feel like I could just brush it off and, right, I'll make another birdie. But at the Open, I felt like when it was going well, I felt like I was, I was there to compete. I was there to make the cut, and I was there to, prove I was good enough. But then as soon as I sort of faced a little bit of adversity on the second day, I put too much pressure on myself, and I sort of didn't handle it very well. So I don't quite know what it is, but I know that there was a different feeling once things went wrong. Like things were going wrong with the amateur. I was outside the cut for like 5 holes to play. I had like 4 outside the cut, and I managed to scramble back in. I made a few birdies and an eagle on the way in to make the cut, and I felt like I didn't have that in me at the Open. Upon reflection, I mean, during the tournament, you feel like you're committing to it, and you feel like you have enough to make the cut. But I felt after sort of looking back on how I felt at the time, there was a difference, but I don't quite know what it was.
Now that you've had, now that you're more in reflection mode, and you look at that Friday at the Open, and you're in like you're in a fire of experience, like you're in overdrive sensory, let alone trying to take it all in and process it. Is there something that you learned about yourself or coping with that extra expectation you put in yourself on that Friday in High Lake that can help you now when you're in the pro ranks, you know?
Yeah, there was, I mean, I think out of any day I played golf this year, that Friday of the Open, I learned 10 times more than I have learned the whole year. I started off great. I was, I was one over the first day and started the second day great. I mean, I horseshoed in the first for birdie and then hit it to like 4 feet on an extra birdie, missed it. Played the third very well, fourth very well, fifth very well, sixth very well. And then I felt very frustrated that I was only one over because I felt like I should have been top 10. Like I felt like I should. I think maybe one under was top 10, maybe two under, and I felt like I was, I played good enough to be there. I should have. I put it quite poorly on that Friday, but then very early in the round, I said, right, let's be more aggressive. I said to my caddy Jack, I was like, right, let's. I don't know what. Like I thinking back on it now, I don't know why, but I said, right, let's hit driver more to sort of force the envelope and try and make more birdies. But like in hindsight, I was playing well enough to make birdies. I just wasn't putting well. Like I had 10 feet in the first, 4 feet on the next, at 8 feet on the sixth, and other holes I was still within 30 feet. And then for some reason, I thought that it was like I wasn't playing aggressive enough, even though I was playing pretty aggressive. I was playing great, and then I put driver on 8 into a bunker. And then made a stupid double, and then I was behind the 8 ball then because I was sort of one. I think I was on the cut line then, and then I made a stupid mistake on 10, and 11. There was two bad errors, and you're standing there going like you're frustrated with yourself for what happened the night because you shouldn't have hit driver there. It was definitely a 2 iron, 6 iron all day instead of hitting driver 9 iron. There's a lot of sort of experience and patience and understanding if things aren't going your way. Okay, why isn't it going your way? Is it you're not holding putts, or is it that you're driving it bad? But like if I looked at tee to green on the second night, it was flawless. It's 7 greens, I think 5 fairways, and I was cruising. I just didn't hold a few putts, and then I changed my game plan to sort of put more pressure on my long game, which was going well, instead of just waiting for the putts to drop. So yeah, it's valuable experience now. It was at the time it was frustrating, because I was sort of after the Friday I was kicking myself, going like, why did you change what was going well? And but now I know. Now hopefully it can help me going forward.
Definitely. You gotta know when to put the brick on the accelerator, right? So save it for Saturdays, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe just make the cut first, and then I can start being aggressive.
It's very easy to say that from the sofa, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
We'll rewind back to the East, and where was I? I don't know, was it at the seniors, the champions thing in Sea Point, or where? I met a fella from Laytown, Bettystown. I think it was the week you were in the amateur, and we were talking about. Right. I don't know who he is. But he's a great lad. Right. Friend of your dad's. You might say who isn't. But we're talking about you at the East, and he was saying about how you were going into the final round the night before. You were looking at the leaderboard in the clubhouse. Can you tell us about that?
The leaderboard or the what's that?
You were looking at like the role of you were looking at the role of honor in the East, the leaderboard in Baltray.
Oh yes,
because you won it last year.
Yeah, I remember that. I think I was looking at that. I think I glanced. I went because it's right beside the bathroom. On the way into the restaurant, and I think I glanced at it on the Sunday night. I didn't look at it though. I sort of just looked at it to see my name. I always look at it. It's quite nice to see your name up on a wall. But then I remember after the lunch on the Monday, going back out, I think I had a maybe 1 or 2 shot lead going into the last round. I remember looking at it, and I remember for whatever reason, wherever I looked, it just went to Ramey Burns winning twice in a row, and I didn't think anything of it, and then I just started looking down to the most recent winners, and I realized he was the last person to do it, and I was like, oh, that's quite cool. And this just be me gonna, tee off my fourth round. It was maybe like a 10 seconds, like just glance, and then that focused me a lot to sort of, I didn't go out there with the sort of the tentativeness to like try hold on or like do anything crazy. I went out there to try win it again, which I didn't play the best in the fourth round, and some would say maybe it didn't help me looking at that sort of winners list, but it gave me a focus. It gave me a focus when things weren't going well. Like I felt like I was in the driving seat to win it again, and that gave me a bit more, I guess motivation, but probably a little bit more concentration to, I wasn't trying to just win it. I was trying to win it for the second time. So I don't know how to really describe it, but it definitely helped me.
Is that like that extra bit of motivation, like that extra bit of refocusing to kind of like clear the mechanism if you watch that Kevin Costner movie, just to kind of hone in on it's not just today, to grind it out, I suppose.
Yeah, like it made me like I didn't worry about what the lads I was playing what were doing. I was just focused on trying to win. Until the last few holes when it started going a bit crazy and everything was all over the shop, that I started like thinking about what they were doing. But it gave me a focus for the front nine. And yeah, luckily I found a way to win, and then now I've got my name up there for the second time.
Deadly. I can't remember. I should have done my research, but come on, this is a professionally unprofessional setup. What your walk-on song was 2 years ago, but what would your walk-on song be if you are playing in that Made in Denmark event next year?
I would probably say I think it was Seven Nations Army. I think was the last one. I think I probably still have that one.
It was, yeah. You're right, yeah.
Seven Nations Army. I think I'd have that. I can't think of anything else. No, yeah, I'd be pretty. Oh no,
fair play to you for remembering.
Or maybe like the Rocky Road to Dublin or something. I don't know, something Irish. Yeah, I don't know, but I think the Seven Nations Army is quite a good one.
It's a good one. Is that for push-ups or range work?
I don't know. I think range work. I would much rather listen to a podcast. Maybe for push-ups, I'd say.
Good choice. What is the best golf tip you've gotten?
Best golf tip? Jeez, there's loads. I guess probably what my coach Donald Scott gave me years ago. It's nothing really to do with the swing, but it's to do with mindset. And I think mindset has sort of made me a way better player than me being, technically better. He said it is what it is and not what it's for. So if you've got that had seemed this year, I've had a lot of sort of putts on the last hole or down the stretch where I need to hold it. It's the thought of, if it's 6 feet left to right, that's all it is. It's not a 6-footer to win the Easter, to beat anybody. It's still it's 6-footer. So if it's a 6-footer on the putting green or a 6-footer on the course, it's the exact same putt. Now, what you perceive it to be then adds the pressure. So obviously you see somebody knock a lag put up to 3 feet to win a golf tournament. There's obviously more pressure on it, but it's still a 3-footer. You still got to go through the same process. You still got to go through the same, mindset of going right. Just pick a spot on if you pick a spot or if you pick a line of the hole and hit at it. And if it goes in, great. If it doesn't go in, then it's fine. But it's helped me sort of take away the consequence or the moment away from it, and just strip it back down to, right, what am I doing now? So yeah, that's definitely helped me with putting, with drives, with iron shots, whatever it might be. It's it's allowed me to sort of stick to my process and get very sort of focused instead of worrying about, okay, if I miss this, then what do I lose or what do I not win? Because if you get into that mindset, then you've got no hope.
I think it's a brilliant tip, and thanks for sharing it. It'll save you a lot of money on tour thinking like that. But like
Yeah.
everybody does it, don't they? Like I do it every time in Lahinch. I'm like, birdie the last for 76 or birdie the last
Yeah.
for 79, and it's just putting all this pressure, like this unnecessary pressure on you.
You can have the thoughts, and like it's okay to have
Mark,
those thoughts. Sorry, I cut over you there, but
yeah,
I think it's okay to have those thoughts, but once you sort of stand over the ball, and get those thoughts away, then that's sort of the key.
it is. Like I had a chat with Mark Power after the Irish Open when he performed really well in his first professional start. The week after he played together in the Walker Cup, actually, he still had the Walker Cup head covers on. And he said on the Sunday coming down the back nine, he missed a couple of putts, like you said, makeable or whatever. And he was like, "This is costing me money here." And then he was very quickly to write himself that he can't be thinking that way, because it'll put it like in the moment. He was like, "I can't think like that because then I'm results focused rather than like executing focused." So they're both from the same Donald Scott school of mental strength, I think.
Good, yeah, because I'm sure it'll be a lot tougher as soon as I start playing for money. It's easy to do it when you're trying to, win a local event or get cut, whatever it might be, to whatever players listen to this. But as soon as you start playing for money, I'd say it's a lot harder to strip it all away. So obviously I understand what Mark's saying, and he was telling me the day after I had seen him in Austria, and he was telling me how he felt, and he was like, I shouldn't be thinking this way, but I mean, how do you blame me? It was his first week, playing for money, and you're playing the Irish Open, and he's doing well. I mean, how do you stop? How do you not think about that? But that comes with experience. I'm sure he's been doing it for a while now. I'm sure he's learned how to sort of think down the back nine, and hopefully I can sort of learn like that in the next few years.
I love Harrington's story about that. I don't know if you get much time with Padraig, and hopefully you will. But when he first went on tour, do you know that story? He first went on tour and he finished like 50th or something the first week, and he got a check for like I think £1,600 or whatever it was in the early 90s. And he rang home on the Sunday, and it's just like a complete difference in mentality, maybe to how guys and girls go on tour now, putting loads of pressure on themselves to get their card and make money. Harrington apparently rang home and rang his mother and says, "They're giving it away. They're giving it away." Because he was like, I didn't even play that well, but they're giving it away, So maybe that's the way you can look at it. Just go on tour and they'll be giving away the money.
It's
So you are going to be playing in the pro ranks, yeah. It sure is. You are playing in the pro ranks as of now. Schedule laid out. I think from Walker Cup you get X amount of Challenge Tour starts. You have AB status, so that might be a nice warm up for the Challenge Tour starts. You have Irish Challenge UK Club, and I believe this summer's performances and results kind of fast tracked your decision on that, because I think you'd status to play back in Florida until May next year. So what did you sit down at the dinner table when you came home at the end of the summer? What was the compelling event to like push the button now rather than May of next year?
I think it was the Open. I think once I got into that, I was like, God, I'd love to turn pro. I'd love to, try get to this level as soon as I could. And I knew I was graduating in December, like the last week. And I knew the spring next year would just be playing college events, and then just sort of being enrolled in college but not really doing anything that was gonna give me a degree, or it would just be playing college tournaments. And I felt that during the summer I was played the biggest event in the world. I was like, well, the college events won't compare to this. So I feel like the experience this has all given me, getting the Irish Open, the Open, playing for Europe, playing for Ireland, playing for, GB&I, all these sort of things that I felt that I wasn't going to gain more significant experience in college golf than I was this summer. So I said, look, I think I've experienced it, not experienced at all, but I've experienced the highest level. Um, and I was very excited to sort of, I wanted to turn pro as soon as I could. But I was sort of thinking of turning pro with John and Mark after World Cup, but I still had a degree to finish. They had finished theirs, so I was like, I've done four years of my degree. I need a half a semester left. I might as well just finish it. So I decided probably early on in the summer that I wanted to do it, but it was probably I went back over to America for a month after the Irish Open, and it was during America I realized that obviously the events are good and it's great being part of a team, but I felt that I would have just been sort of not wasting my time because that sounds quite harsh, but I felt like I would have just been doing
I
something
would
that
say
isn't going
it's
to benefit
trading
me.
water.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'd say just kind of trading water might be the term.
exactly. Yeah,
Um,
and I feel like it's the right decision for me at the moment. Obviously strike when the iron's hot. So that's sort of what I'm trying to do.
I'm intrigued as to how that process happens. So, like,
Right.
Alex decides on the Sunday, uh, I'm turning pro. Do you call someone? Do you call like do you call like Golf Ireland? Like, who do you advise that you're now a professional? And how do you get like the not the endorsements, but the like who'd you tell that I'm going to take those starts now on the Challenge Tour? Like, who'd you call?
Uh, to be honest, I don't know. I know I've signed with a management company. So I've signed with White Rose Sports Management, and Alex, my manager, has been. I now realize why these things exist because he's done a lot more things that I didn't know were like needed. Um, so he's taken care of a lot of stuff that sort of I'm very grateful for. But in terms of turning pro, I'm pretty sure I was told a while ago that all you've got to do is just sort of send a letter into Wagger and say that you've turned pro, so they take you off the system. I don't know. I don't know. I always thought this myself. I always wondered what you have to do if you call somebody or if you have to like
Yeah.
do an initiation or what it might be. But I haven't done anything yet, so maybe I'm not a pro, but I turned pro the other day. So I actually, to be honest, I might have missed something there, but
You're just
everybody has
call
just
Neil
been sort of
Manship and he'll take you off the high performance list.
exactly. I'm off the high performance list. I applied for the Golf Ireland funding, so I mean that sort of seems like I've done all the right steps, but yeah, I might have missed something there. I don't know.
You'd be like that. You'd be like the supporter who goes on to the team photo shoot at the start of matches. He'd be like, "I actually do go here. I actually do go
Yeah,
here, lads." Honest,
exactly.
rocking up to Challenge Tour, Irish Challenge, going, "Hiya, lads. Yeah, I'm going to tee off the
Yeah.
seats out." No, I'm sure. I'm sure there's just like a couple of registration forms that the consultant, that the management company will take care of. So
Maybe, yeah.
no, you're home for the Christmas, because I'm going to put this podcast out straight away, unlike others.
Right.
You're home for the Christmas. So what does the first 3 months, first 6 months of next year look like, and what are you most looking forward to?
Um, so obviously the Challenge Tour doesn't really starts in February, but that's the co-sanctioned events of the Sunshine Tour, so I know I won't be getting into them. So the Challenge Tour doesn't really start till March time. That's when the Indian swing is. So I know until definitely January, February is training and practice and trying to fill your time to be prepared for the season. So I'm gonna go over to the States in a few weeks, probably for 5 or 6 weeks to, you know, go back over to where I lived and play and practice when the weather over there is a lot more kinder than back here in Ireland. So I'll get a lot of good work done over there. And then once I'm finished that, then I can see what I get into. Obviously I'll try get the maximum of challenge tour starts. I think it's maybe 7 or 8. Hopefully, pick a schedule that suits me and apply for invitations to a few events. Try play a few events probably earlier on. I might try play like India or Abu Dhabi or wherever is first on the list. Try play them to get off the ground and make some money or get into the points list to then hopefully play well enough in the next few starts and get a card for next year. But right now it's sort of I know what I definitely will be getting into, as in like I know I'll get 8 starts, but which of those 8 starts I'll get into, where they might be, I don't know. All I do know is I'm looking forward to going to America and in a few weeks back to the sun. But it's all exciting. I mean, I don't know exactly what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to traveling and seeing new places. And if I get into India, I'd love to go to India. I haven't been there before, and maybe Kenya or wherever it might be. It's exciting. And I'm sure it'll be difficult. I'm sure it'll be tough being away from family, girlfriend. Eating weird food and being in weird places, and feeling like what am I doing over here? And if you're playing well and missing cuts, it's going to be tough. But I mean, I have a good team around me. I've got good support system. I have a great family and girlfriend who are very supportive of me and believe in me. So it's very exciting. And then hopefully I'll come back to you next year with the full card somewhere.
I've no doubt in that, but we'll see each other throughout the year, hopefully, at various events, Irish Challenge and Irish Open, hopefully. We get into that one together. You on the course and me taking pictures, hopefully. I'll you'll get your profile picture out of it anyway.
Great.
But
that's all I can ask for.
Back in Florida for a few weeks, it seems to be the haven or the hub of professional golf where they spend their time. Is there anyone that you've planned to play with or hang out with? John Murphy talks about getting, like the right like-minded, like in any high-performance institution, like getting the right similar thinking people around you, golfers to play with. Shane Lowry lives in Florida. Have you got like that competitive ecosystem over there for the few weeks while you're over there, or is it you in your bubble and totally focused on what you're looking to achieve?
I know I'll be going back over to where I still pay rent in my house that my 3 college teammates still living there, so I'll be going back to the college system, I guess. Now the coach has been he's a new coach. He came in the start of the semester, and he's been very good to me. He said, look, if you're coming back as a pro or an amateur, you're more than welcome to play and practice with the team and work out with the team if I want to. So I'll be going back to elite amateur golfers. And then I'd love to reach out to Shane and get a game with Shane up in Jupiter. Like where I am is pretty much golfing paradise. There's a golf course every sort of 500 yards, and they're all class. The weather's so nice, and it's a very nice lifestyle, which is why I'm looking forward to going back. But it won't just be me. It'll be the college teammates around me, and working out with them at 6 in the morning, and going practicing from 8 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. And then if they go away to an event, I'll be there back on my own. I'd love to reach out to a few lads, a few pros here in the area, and play with them. Obviously, the biggest part about America that's helped me is connections. You meet the right people and you talk to them, and you be nice to them and you be generous to them, and they'll reciprocate that. There's a lot of wealthy people in America also, a lot of people in country clubs, of private country clubs that you can't get into, that will sort of invite you out, and I'll try lean on a few connections when I'm over there and see if I can get out to a few nice courses. But yeah, it'll be a little bit of a holiday, but it's all work. It's 6 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon is pretty much sort of room to get better. And then once it gets dark, you can sort of enjoy yourself.
No, it's good. I think it's a great move. I'm sure it's a calculated move. Nicely calculated. In that you're kind of going back into a routine. because it's very easy to fall out of routine and sleeping in and bad systems and bad habits. So it's really good to hear that you're going into like a good infrastructure and a good ecosystem and space then for your own growth, which is really good. Alex Maguire, thank you very much.
Thank you
We'll
very much,
talk
buddy.
to you soon. Thanks for your time. Merry Christmas.
And to you.
Wish you all the best, and we'll be keeping tabs on you. You know, you might be trying to stay low on the high grass, but we'll keep supporting you from near and afar.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks for having me.